Have you ever dreamed of becoming fluent in another language, but then you look at your schedule and think, there's just no way? Well, if that's you, you are in exactly the right place. We're going to break down how anyone, and I mean anyone, can get fluent by carving out just one single focused hour a day. Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to talk about getting your head in the right space with the fluency mindset. Then, we'll get practical and find that study hour. After that, we'll make sure every minute of that hour is effective. And finally, we'll talk about the secret weapon that makes it all work: focus. So let's just start with a number. To get to a really solid, comfortable level of fluency in a tough language, let's say Mandarin Chinese, it takes, on average, about 1,000 hours of study. Just let that number sink in for a second. 1,000. It's a lot. And that's the big question, isn't it? 1,000 hours can feel like this huge, impossible mountain to climb. But here's the good news. You can climb it. We're going to break it all down, piece by piece, starting with the absolute foundation, your mindset. Before we even touch on techniques or apps or schedules, we have to talk about what's going on in your head. This is the engine for the entire journey. You know, without the right mindset, even the best strategies in the world are going to fall flat. This is all about finding your why. But it has to be specific. Don't just think, I want to be fluent. Think about the actual experiences. I want you to picture yourself actually making a new friend laugh with a joke you told in their language, or maybe confidently giving directions to someone who's lost. Those vivid, emotional pictures, that's the fuel that's going to keep you going. Now this is a really critical shift in how you think. We tend to measure language learning in years, but that's not what matters. Fluency is about the number of focused hours you put in. One solid hour every single day is way more powerful than dabbling here and there for a decade. It's about the hours, not the years. This leads us to a really powerful idea from the book Atomic Habits. It's about shifting from an outcome goal to an identity goal. So instead of saying, I want to speak fluent Chinese, you start telling yourself, I am a Chinese learner. See the difference? Every single time you sit down to study, you're proving that new identity to yourself. All right, mindset is in place. You're thinking like a language learner. Now comes the practical part. Let's go on a little hunt and find that golden hour hiding somewhere in your day. First, what's a small, reasonable sacrifice you can make? Maybe it's watching one less episode on Netflix. Simple. But then, focus on what we call keystone habits. Things like getting good sleep, eating well, and moving your body. These don't take time from your day. They create the energy and focus you need for that study hour. Now here's a brilliant little trick. It's called habit stacking. The idea is you chain your new habit to one you already do without thinking. So, after you make your morning coffee, that's the existing habit, you immediately review 10 flashcards. The coffee becomes the trigger for language learning. You know that feeling of procrastination when the task just seems too big? The way to beat it is with the just do one rule. Tell yourself, I'm just going to review one flashcard, or I'll listen to just 1 minute of the podcast. Getting started is the hardest part, and this little trick gets you over that first hurdle. More often than not, one turns into a full session. And here are a few more quick tips. Set up your environment with cues. Leave a textbook on your desk. Use dead time, like commuting or doing chores, for passive listening. Find a community of other learners to keep your motivation up. And track your habit. You'd be surprised how satisfying it is to see that streak grow. So, you found the hour. Now for the most important part, making sure that hour actually counts for something. A wasted hour is, well, it's a wasted hour. This simple 3-part model is your guide to making sure that doesn't happen. Think of your journey like this: build, get, activate. It's a simple, logical path. First, you build a foundation. You get the pronunciation right, and you learn about 1,000 of the most common words. Then, you get tons of input by listening and reading things you can understand. And finally, you activate what you know by actually speaking and writing. Now, to make that build stage super efficient, you've got to use the right tools. Spaced repetition software, or SRS, is a must. These are these smart flashcard apps that show you a word right before you're about to forget it. It's like magic for your memory. Combine that with simple memory tricks, and you'll build your vocabulary fast. Okay, on to the get stage. Your goal here is to create an immersion pool of things you actually enjoy.
Audiobooks are perfect for this. You can find a book series you already love, like Harry Potter, and just listen to it in your target language. It makes learning feel way less like a chore. You can also add things like comics or graphic novels to your pool. Why? Because the pictures give you so much context. They make it way easier to figure out what's going on, even if you don't know every single word. And of course, there are TV shows and movies. This is a classic for a reason. You can start with subtitles in your own language, then bravely switch to subtitles in the target language. And eventually, you'll be able to watch with no subtitles at all. We've now arrived at the final piece of the puzzle. And honestly, this might be the single most important factor of all. This is what takes your 1 hour of study and makes it feel like 3. This is a total game changer. When you're watching that TV show or listening to that audiobook, don't just sit back passively. Be an active participant. When you hear a new word that seems interesting, just pause for 10 seconds, pull out your phone, and make a flashcard. That tiny 10% burst of effort can give you a 100% better return on your time. And this really is the ultimate takeaway. We started by saying it's about the hours, not the years. But let's take it one level deeper. It's really about the focused hours. 1 hour of deep, uninterrupted, focused work is worth so much more than 3 hours of you kinda sorta studying with your phone buzzing next to you. So the path is laid out, the tools are there. Fluency isn't some gift that only a few people have. It's a skill, and it's built through daily, focused effort. The only real question left is, what is the one small change you're gonna make today to start your hour?